What's up, everybody? Welcome to CFP Talks. My name is Jonas, and with me, as always, is my main man, Mr. David Fuchs.
What's up? What's up? Do you like my background, by the
I
way?
I do like it. Is this an honor of our travels?
It's not ours, yours. Because I'm not going that way. Oh
Yeah,
no, you're
true.
not going
Yeah,
that way either, actually. Never mind.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but yeah,
But I
yes,
like it. I
it's
mean, I
more
like it. It's festive.
it's more so in honor of you because I assumed that anyone in California or on the West Coast, if you're going to Europe, Asia, wherever, you just hop the other way. I didn't know you guys come across the country and then go across the Atlantic. I figure you guys
Yeah.
would just take the shortcut and go around the Pacific.
Well, so the one would think that if it's from LA to New York, is like a 5 hour flight, and New
Yes.
York to London is a 7 hour flight. Then LA to London is a 12 hour flight, but it's actually a 10 hour flight because they take a different route. They go kind of like, instead of like going this way and up, they just go shortest distance between 2 points type of deal. And I did not know that because I assumed it to be a longer flight, and Paris as well. I flew out to France for a buddy's wedding, and it was same thing. And we were like, I was sitting there, I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be the longest flight of my life. And actually was not bad. But I also had that question. I was like, do you go the other way now? Like one,
Yeah, I wonder, and we don't have, and we could pivot to CFP talks after this, but I wonder what is the cutoff on the what's known as the Eastern Hemisphere of the world, meaning Russia, Asia, Europe. Like, what's the cutoff where if you live in California, you're going to go west?
it's gotta be somewhere in Asia.
That's what I think too.
Yeah.
And then if you go past that point, then you're going to be going east and you're going to
Yeah,
take
it's
the other
it's
route.
yeah, exactly. It's the point
Like
of no
there's got
return.
like there's got to be a breaking point. Like with Social Security, there's like a break even point. Like I think there's probably a break even point when it comes to traveling to Europe
Yeah,
from
I
California,
I gotta imagine that it's somewhere in China. Like now
somewhere in
I'm
Asia.
curious. Now this is the problem that like now I'm gonna have to look it up. You know what we should ask Chat GPT.
Yeah.
We should ask Chat GPT.
All
I'm
right,
gonna
but
ask Chat GPT, not now, but at some point
yeah.
we'll ask Chat GPT. But let's talk a little bit about obviously the CFP exam. And as we're coming into the final month here, what are
Yeah.
some of your do's and don'ts of the last month? Because this is again, like we chatted about in our last episode, this is a very panic-stricken time, right? You're flipping the calendar, you're like, "Oh my God, I only got a month left, and I have this laundry list that's 30 items deep that I got to get through. How the hell do I even attack this?"
Yeah, the last one, I mean, we talked about it last episode last week, about how the last month, first of all, flies by, goes by so fast. And you do when you see the calendar flip and you're like, oh shit, I have 4 weeks left. Or we're in October now. The exam is the next month, November. You kind of get hit pretty hard and you start to realize you kind of have like a mini panic attack. I remember when I flipped the calendar and it was like when I was taking it in March, I flipped the calendar to February. I was like, oh fuck, I'm taking it into March. And by the way, February is a short month anyway.
Yeah.
Not that it has anything to do with this exam cycle for November, but it's a little bit of a panic attack. I think that it's helpful to know, we talked about last time about how you're gonna get nervous and to expect it and some things to like calm your nerves. I think it'd be good for us to go through. Here's some things that you got to do in the last month that's going to keep you on track, and then here are some things in the last month that you should not do that can derail your whole thing. So in terms of the do, were you going to jump in there?
No, 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 no. Oh, wait. I want to hear what you said
So
first.
so in terms of the dues, just settle down. It's going to go really fast, but if you have your plan in place, which you should have had your plan in place from the beginning, don't change it just because now all of a sudden you're freaking out because you're a month out. You knew when you made your plan, you knew at some point you were going to get to a month out and you had a plan Like you had a plan for October at this point. Just because we're now actually in October, and just because now we're 4 weeks out, doesn't mean change that plan because your mindset changed. So you got to stick to your plan. Let me now volley it back over to you. I don't want to take up all of
Yeah.
the duties to do. So let me run it back over to you.
I think um one do that I would absolutely give you is don't fall trap to the long study days at the month out. Your inkling is going to be, I
So
have
this is a
30.
don't. This is a don't.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to hold that one. I'm going to hold. Wait. Do,
Wait,
do,
wait.
do,
So
do, do, do,
so
do,
it's
do,
so do this.
do.
Don't fall trapped to the long study day.
I'm an idiot. All right.
So
So do sleep 8 hours a night. That is a
yeah,
big do, especially this last month. Like, and if you can do more, do more. I mean, but I would try to keep it anywhere. Like the thing is 5 hours is not going to cut it, and I know that you're going to want to study a lot, and so you're going to be sacrificing sleep. Try to get as close to 8 hours as possible. If that's seven, if that's 7.5, great. If you can get eight, ideal, but 7 to 8 is ideal. Like you still need to prioritize sleep because that's going to make your studying more
more
efficient
effective. I agree.
because you need to rest and you need to be sharp.
Yeah, and I would even add on to that, like 8 hours, 7 hours. I mean, not everybody's gonna be able to swing that. It depends what your personal situation is, what your schedule is like. Do you have kids? What time do you have to get up to get to work in the morning? So like, or what time do you get home? Like, that's all dependent. I think like the main thing is not necessarily the amount of hours, although I agree. Obviously, it would be great if you can do that. I think the main thing is like you just got to keep yourself fresh. Now, obviously, keeping yourself fresh would mean get rest, but it's in any way that you feel like you can keep your body fresh. Some people, it's not sleep, it's doing yoga or working out or meditating or eating right. Like whatever it is that you do, whether it's sleep, eating right, exercising, that's going to keep your mind and body fresh. Do that this last month.
Yeah, and I'm going to second that on, you know, even if you're typically like, not the best eater or maybe you don't have the best diet, don't go the other way this last month where you're like, I'm going to start having energy drinks and eating lots of don't do that stuff, but do like what David said, do the things that are relevant. And one of the things that actually Brainscape came out with a study on that they sent out to all their users was one of the most uh kind of understated things for retention during studying and the relief of anxiety is
Taking Xanax? No. Um,
Adderall. We're an Adderall
oh, it's Adderall,
podcast,
right, right,
okay?
right. No, I don't know. What is it?
Exercise.
Oh, yes, 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 for
Literally,
sure.
and it wasn't a lot. It was 30 to 45 minutes of exercise 3 times a week and help with both
Yeah,
tension and reducing your anxiety. So
yeah,
like, and again, that's an important thing. Like, do get away from your books and go exercise. Do sleep. Okay.
yep. All
Shall
right,
we
so
shall we
yeah,
flip?
let's flip it now. So you start since you already kind of had
So do not fall prey
premise.
to the 8 hour study day. I know how tempting this is, right? And here is the way that it typically gets laid out. I didn't have enough time on Monday. I didn't have enough time on Wednesday to study. So I'm going to roll my Monday, Wednesday into the weekend. Oh, by the way, Thursday I really didn't get much done. I tried to do some flashcards, but I really only got some flashcards. I didn't get into the rest of my study. I didn't do my cases. I didn't do my written stuff. I didn't do my practice questions. Okay, so now I'm gonna sit down on Saturday and I'm gonna make up for those 9 hours on a Saturday,
Yeah,
plus
this
my
is
study
a
time.
classic. Yeah, this is a classic that you're talking about right now.
So just because you get to the number of hours does during the week doesn't mean you should load it all up into one day. Okay. And here's what I mean by that. I'm going to give you two people. Person A studies 3 hours a day, 6 days a week, gets to 18 hours. Okay. And then has Sunday fully off. Person B studies Monday 2 hours, Wednesday 2 hours, Friday 2 hours, then does 6 hours on Saturday and 6 hours on Sunday, gets to 18 hours. Who's better off?
Hey, Ray.
You know, you'd rather be A because this name of the game is all about repetition. So
Yeah.
having 2 long study days, again, it sounds like it's the same. And it sounds like I'm splitting hairs here. Oh, Joe, you still got to 18 hours. Well, and that person took 2 days off. Isn't 2 days off better than one? And the answer is no, because there is a lasting effect to doing back to back 6 to 8 hour days that
Yeah.
make the Monday and Wednesday study not as effective.
Exactly. I was about to say when you get past a certain point, and you used to tell us this all the time, when you get past a certain point, you're not really retaining anything. And I remember when I would be doing whatever for that particular day to study, when I got to a certain point, I would just stop because I knew at that point anything I did after that was going to be pretty much ineffective
Right.
because now I am at 3+ hours and I'm not really in the zone anymore. My head is all over the place. I'm hungry. I'm tired. I'm sick of reading and taking questions. So I'm kind of like, all right, I'm done at this point. So yeah, you could sit there and have a book open for 8 hours, or you could answer questions for 8 hours. At some point, it becomes ineffective. So I always, and I'm not even talking about just the last month. I know we're talking about that right now, but I actually used to heed this advice from you even before that. I always actually tried to cap the amount of time that I studied because after a certain amount, I was ineffective anyway. It was a waste of time.
Think about your brain like a rechargeable battery. Think about your brain like a Tesla. Once I drain the battery, I can hit the gas all I want. And you could sit there in the car and you can try to put it in drive, but it's not going to go anywhere. Right. And so at that point, it's like getting out and pushing a dead car. It's very, very difficult to get it moving, and you're never really going to get as much out of it as you think you will. So if you're doing that, you're better off, capping it and doing your three. And again, as you get closer to the exam, your study days are going to get longer, but you have to remember the name of the game is consistency. It's like going to the gym. I could spend 6 hours at the gym, but that lasting effect of going to the gym for 6 hours is I'm not going to be able to walk the next day. What kind of workout are you having the next day? Even if you do go back to the gym and you
Right.
spend another 6 hours, what do you do? I just gave myself rhabdo, right? Again, you're not, at what point, you know, do we start kind of saying to ourselves, hey, the consistency is the king? Because again, and remember, your brain, as much as we want repetition, or excuse me, as much as we want retention, you can't get it in one day. The way that you get retention is through repetition. And if you're not doing the repetition, you're not going to get the retention, period.
Yeah. I want to just close out with one thing, with one more thing. Um, and you, I feel like are a huge advocate for this. Please tell me if I'm wrong here,
Okay.
but Joe's like, I hope he's wrong. Um,
I just wait.
but
I'm waiting. Like, there's a lot of shit that I say, so this could go in a lot of different directions.
no, I know for a fact you're going to agree with this. So I would literally bet every single dollar I had. They don't take off the last week just to do one of these marathon study weeks every single day because that as helpful as people think it is, like, oh, I'm going to take off the entire week, I'm going to study 6 hours a day, that's just cramming for a college exam. That it's not as effective on this exam.
What do you think the odds of that actually helping are?
I think it depends who we're talking about, but I think there's certain people where it's like that actually helps them. They're natural procrastinators and they can cram and they can learn really quickly, or they already have prior knowledge being in the industry for a long time. I think your average person that's taking this exam, which is probably I would say mid 20s, upper 20s, maybe like lower 30s, that um is just a motivated individual that is not really the type that has or doesn't have the experience to have the knowledge. And your average person, it doesn't, in my opinion. Your average person, aka like me, it wouldn't have helped.
I agree with that. I think
Like your
I think it's about 20 or 30% as effective as people think it is.
yeah.
And you know my counter solution to it is take Fridays or Mondays off throughout the process and
Yeah.
recreate those 7 days in the aggregate versus 7 days in a row. Because
Hmm.
3 day weekends where you get to study 3 days in a row, where you can now you have more time to rest in between or take care of your errands and keep yourself in the game, because the rest is really important. And that's the thing that people don't realize is that you gotta rest. Like, and you think about it like a superior athlete, it's like, oh, what did Kobe Bryant do? Kobe fucking sat around a lot, played video games and chilled, or wasn't in the gym. He was at the gym when he needed to be in the gym, and then when he wasn't, he was out of the gym. He wasn't going and messing around and doing other stuff or running errands at midday on a Saturday and then rushing home. So you got to put yourself in that position to succeed. So as always, guys, we hope that you found this helpful. Hopefully, some of these do's or don'ts um, really help, and make sure that, again, these are not just things that we're saying. These are things that we've experienced ourselves as test takers. We know what that feeling is of the last month, and we hope that you learn from not only our experience but the collective experience of hundreds of students that we've worked with. So as always, we hope you found this helpful, and we will see you guys on our next episode. Have a great day.